Hi everyone, this is Bonnie Bland from Dallas County Schools Texserve, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about World and I School. Now, worldandschool.com is an online digital resource. Used to be an online digital magazine. It was created by worldandschool.com. Remember that you need to type in worldandschool.com to get the school version, because worldandschool.com is the public library version. Worldandschool.com and worldandschool.com are for K-12. Now, worldandschool.com, when you log in, you'll see your account will show up with your expiration date, and you'll see at the top of the screen there are curricular areas: social studies, language arts, science, and the fine arts. There's also a teacher's corner. We'll cover each of those today, and also the Spanish on the right-hand side and the ESL program. And then there's also the World Gallery with a rolling scroll bar here at the top. And the scroll bar shows certain things that are happening during today's history throughout the world. There may be one or two events that are highlighted. And as those scroll across, you can point your pointer over the top of it, and then you will get a little bit of information about that special day in history. For instance, this one here on the Defense Day of Pakistan gives a little information on what that holiday is. The World Gallery here in the center of the page is a very good multimedia repository of still photos and some multimedia videos, short videos, on different countries in the area. And it is basically tied to the cultural studies, the global culture studies area right here. And you'll see I can do the little down arrow there and select a lot of different countries here that are highlighted. Lots and lots of countries. So just about any country you can think of, you can select and highlight and find out more information on that country. For instance, I could check the Philippines here and go there. And that country will be highlighted in the center of the page with a map that shows where the country is, the flag, and then a map of the country here that I could click and enlarge and print off if I like. And then demographic information on that country here. Also on the right-hand side of the Global Cultural Studies area, there are usually links to, most of the countries have links to the English newspapers. So English newspapers from that country, you can click on those, and there may be one or many newspapers that are highlighted. This one has 3 different newspapers, and these are current newspapers from that day. So the students can click on that newspaper and go and read that newspaper of what is happening in that country today. What are their headlines, and what are the information that that country is interested in. So it's their digital magazine for that country. You'll also see the cultural images and the native greetings. The native greetings are not with all of the countries, but many of the countries, probably about 50% of the countries, do have native greetings. And the native greetings, when you click on that, you will see in writing general greetings and greetings from teachers to students, and some from students to students, but the sound files are right there. So you can click on the sound files, and then you can listen to those greetings in that native language, in that native tongue. So it's really a lot of fun for students to learn a little bit of how they would say just general greetings and what a teacher might say, like welcome to our class and so on. The cultural images are those images that are in the World Gallery that I talked about earlier. You'll see all the countries to the left, and I clicked on the World Gallery from the Philippines link. And so now I've got pictures from the Philippines, and these pictures, I can click on those pictures. They come up in a larger view, and I can play those as a slideshow, or I can just go ahead and scroll through those pictures. And I can use those pictures by right mouse clicking on those and saving those pictures for something that a report or something that I might be doing for that country. So those pictures can be used in different reports, but they are allowed for academic and personal use. You can see that at the bottom. So that is that World Gallery and the Global Culture Studies. In the center of the page is usually a featured story. Today, it shows a little bit of pictures that are scrolling through. Looks like in Colombia, they usually feature a certain country or something like that. But there's also a featured story here on bagels in China. And it looks like it says, bagels in China, who would have dreamed that this icon of New York delicatessens would not just make a foothold in the Forbidden Kingdom, but become a runaway hit. So apparently bagels in China have become a hit. So that's interesting. So I could learn more about that by clicking read more and read more on this article about how bagels in China have become very popular. So kind of a fun little interesting feature story today. And there are other feature stories from this month that are here. You'll see, and most of these are very current events, great for a current events class. So there's a lot of social studies there. And this curricular area here at the top is also very strong with the social studies. But World and I is not just about social studies. And I'll show you this curricular area. We do have a lot of social studies here with civics and government, economics, philosophy, education, psychology, minority studies. There's a lot of great articles and essays in these areas. And you can click on each of these areas, including US history, world history, and so on, and get more information on just some great articles that are in those areas. And that's in that social studies area. But if I always click on the World and I school here, if I click on that, I always will go back to the home page. And there are a lot of other areas of World and I. It's not just social studies. There is language arts. Language arts has got a great area with folk tales from around the world, actually. And then there's writers and writing. There's media and review with news stories. Good look at the virtues and vices of the media. There's point and counterpoint, great for debates and discussions. There's traveling the globe, ceremonies and festivities, poetry, which is a big thing in Texas, and peoples of the world. There's biographies of famous people right here in the language arts area, and book reviews and speech and debates right here. So you can get some great ideas. For instance, speech and debate. You've got all these topics here, and it'll give you both sides to study for a speech and debate class. So it gives you some good ideas for speech and debate and different ideas for classes there. Science, again, I said it's just not social studies and language arts. We've got science. We've got special collections of science, everything from nature and outer space, and even genes and biotechnology. But we've also have other technology and millennial moments, maybe special moments in science history here. So you'll see there's some great articles there to read up about. So some good areas in the science and technology. I always include technology with science. Fine arts, which is the arts here, is wonderful because it's really breaks it down into topics such as not just general art, but music and composers and architecture and painting and sculpture and vocalists and theater and just lots and lots of different areas of art and fine arts. even craft and design. So a lot of great highlighted articles and essays and information on certain famous people in the art world, composers and so on. So there's some great activities and information there. So there's the cultural areas across the top, the different curricular areas. And then the Teacher's Corner is the last area on the top. The Teacher's Corner, when I go to that, if it does ask you for a code, you would use TAC, short for Teacher Access Code, TAC. That will give you access to the Teacher's Guide, which are thousands of lesson plans. These are correlated to national standards. There's over 2,000 lesson plans here. So I might be a language arts teacher and I'm looking for lesson plans. And as I drill down in these lesson plans, I've got English and foreign language. So maybe I'm an English teacher, not just not a foreign language teacher. So I would look at those national standards. Maybe I am looking for lessons that give reading for perspective. I click on reading for perspective, and that's going to give me lesson plans that are correlated to that standard. Here's one from March of this year on Harper Lee, To Kill a Mockingbird author, and a little bit about her. And when I click on that lesson plan, you'll see here that that lesson plan has got learning objectives, pre-reading questions, activities with comprehensive questions, a class activity, and even some optional homework. And connected to that lesson plan is the article. So when I click on that, the article comes up, and the students can read the article. The teacher can have the lesson plan that goes with that article, and those are linked together. That article lesson plan is linked here, called the Teacher's Guide, and those are both linked together. So you have the lesson plan and the article linked together right there. Thousands and thousands of lesson plans, great lesson plans. The other thing you'll see in the Teacher's Corner is you'll see crossword puzzles. Crossword puzzles, you can search for those under curricular areas if you like. You can search for those by date if you like, by issue. There's usually a couple of those that are printed every month, and those are linked to certain articles. So this one is Nature's Answer to Climate Risk, and we've got the article is where they'll find the answers. So they can click on the link right there. It will take you to the article. And then you see in the article, if it has a crossword puzzle, it'll show here as crossword puzzle. In fact, this article just happens to have a lesson plan, that's the Teacher's Guide, and a crossword puzzle linked to it. So that's a great article. It's got 2 items that you can use there for that article. And that's, again, under that Teacher's Corner area. And those crossword puzzles can be printed out or done online. Another curricular area is the Spanish area. The Spanish area has Spanish classes that change every week, and with reading comprehensive, with vocabulary, with idioms and phrasal verbs. These are very rich with sound files. So you've got the sound file that takes you through the article. And then you've got, over here to the right, you've got the basics. So I can go to the basics, and the basics is an archive of all the basics, introduction to Spanish, the ABCs, the fundamental information, basic grammar, essential phrases. So a student can learn Spanish just through this. There's the links here on the right also, with more information here, for instance, on colors, the weather, the body, the family, and so on, and basic grammar. So there's a lot right there and just under the basics. I actually have schools that use this in their Spanish classes. It's very, very good curriculum. And World and I also has an ESL program. They started this a few years ago. It's great. It has an ESL archive that has past programs. Every week this changes, just like the Spanish, with article of the week, with reading comprehension, vocabulary, idioms, and phrasal verbs, and with the recording. So it reads to them, and it helps English language learners to learn the English language a little better by reading to them as with a current event type article. And they learn certain words and certain ideas right here by reading aloud with the article. And you can go back to the past issues over here in the archive and search by topics. So you might even want to look maybe for articles in art and music. If a student was interested in art and music, but they're an English language learner, and it would get them interested in learning the language a little better by reading those types of articles. This area, Outstanding ESL Americans, is an area of biographies of people who came from other countries, and some are famous, some are not so famous. Great little biographies written on a lot of ESL Americans. So you'll really like that, I think. Going back to the World in iSchool homepage, you see we covered the curricular areas up here. There is a search here. You can search by topic. You can do an advanced search also. So it is a database of this digital magazine that goes way back to 1986, I believe. You can look at the current issue of the magazine by clicking over here on current issue, and you'll see all the areas of the current issue of the magazine. Or you can go to the e-library, and the e-library shows all the issues from this year and past years all the way, yes, to 1986. One of the fun activities I do is I ask students to go look for the magazine with the month and the year that they were born, and look and compare and contrast what was happening during that time as compared to what's happening now. And they really enjoy reading the magazine during the month and year of their birth. So we've covered the curricular areas, the Spanish ESL, the issues. The headlines and review are where you can sign up for an email to be sent to you that gives you current events that are going on right now. And these are news stories that are gathered every week on just current events all over the world. And you'll see they're highlighted here, but they'll also send you an email that gives you a little synopsis of these current events and a reminder, hey, go and check World and I. And this is what's in the headlines in review for the week. So that's what that is. I'm going to go back to the home page so that you can see this area. This is the best place to see this area, called the Special Collections area. Under the crossword puzzles on the left-hand side, you'll see Special Collections. It's a long area, long list of special collections, basically set up by themes. There's a few that are highlighted on the right-hand side with the pictures, such as the Civil War. I love these. These are some of the most popular ones. You'll see the Civil War is a popular one, the American Indian Heritage, folk tales, another great popular one. So these are collections of essays and articles. For instance, the Civil War, if I click on that one, you'll see that it's arranged in different sections here in the middle, with section 1 being events preceding the war, then section 2 being about battles and political events, section 3 important political leaders, and so on. So there's different sections here in the middle part that deal with the Civil War. But you can see over here on the right that there's also, you can look and sort by just the year of the war. So if I wanted to look at 1863, I could click on that, and I have events of 1863 that happened during that time. Or I might want to highlight just an important political leader or a military leader. So there's just some really great highlights. It's a great collection of information during the Civil War. They've got Civil War experts that actually write these articles and put these together every month. So it's just a wonderful, wonderful collection. And you'll always see those, the best listing of the collections is from the World in iSchool homepage, and then here to the left, you'll see the largest. You'll see them sometimes as you go to the curricular pages, but you won't see the complete list until you go to the homepage. That's the complete list of the collections here on the left-hand side. There are just peoples of the world. The poetry is wonderful, collection of poetry, and you can highlight even poetries from certain countries and continents. So wonderful, wonderful areas. So as you can see, World in iSchool is a great, great resource with a lot to it, much more than I can show you in this short time. I just wanted to basically give you a good overview and a highlight of it. You can always go here to the tutorial. You can always take a tour here and learn more about World in I by going through these areas. But the best way to learn about World in I is to explore. Just explore the site, click on all the different areas and learn the different areas. And that's how you'll learn how to use it, because it's very easy to use. There's a lot to it. It's very active. It changes constantly. There's just some wonderful, wonderful things that you can find. Just from the World Gallery here with all the multimedia videos and all the links to the countries. There's just so much to it. So I hope you enjoy World in iSchool and you explore it and use the lesson plans and use the crossword puzzles and all the fun things there are to use on it. Thank you so much, and I'm glad that you joined me today. I hope to meet with you again and give you a little overview of World in I Kids.